Hello, beautiful. It's Lindsay Landry, Energy Intuitive Heart Shaman. I'm delighted and honored to be here with you today. And some potent energy is moving through. I feel my hands burning just as I begin to drop in. And I felt guided to record this video, this message for you, for us, for love. So what we're going to be diving into is expanding into joy and allowing joy to move through you and to work through you. And we can also interchange joy with love. So, yes, so welcome. I invite you just to take a deep breath as you land here, as you arrive. Thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for choosing joy, choosing love, choosing to be open, to be curious. So what I want to dive into today, just to give us a little map so you know what we're doing, where this is going. I want to share a little bit about the process that I went through this morning. I want to share a little bit about my process with grief and deep transformation that I have been undergoing the past really 2 years, but I'd say the past 6 months since James and I ended our relationship. I want to share a little bit about that, and I really haven't shared this publicly, so it feels ripe today to just share a little bit more. And I want to create some space and permission for you to move beyond the patterns, the loops, the sticky places that maybe have been holding you captive, have been keeping you maybe boxed in, feeling a little boxed in. And you might feel part of you longing for more, screaming for more. You might feel exhausted, burnout, like you don't have much more to give. I want to create space for that and hopefully give you some drops of honey to give you the energy to continue your process, to continue your work, to return to your truth and the energy that is actually desiring to move through you as an individual. So, yeah, laying down everyone else's stuff, laying down the collective process, laying down lineage, laying it all down and just finding your thread, your home note, the space where you can rest and you can return to your joy, your love. So that is my intentions for this video transmission. And I feel guided to say this here, and I'll share a little bit more at the end of the video, but I am currently offering a special. So I'm offering 50% off my heart attunement sessions, one-on-one sessions, and also 50% off my 3-session packages. So if this speaks to you, if this touches you, if you find yourself thirsty for more, longing for more, or guided to take a step deeper into this, I'd be delighted to talk to you and to support you. You can tune into the end of the video to hear more about that offer and what it looks like and all the goodness. So I want to start with the last 6 months and my landing the past couple weeks. So if you have been following me for a little while, you know that in December, I ended a 10-year relationship. And I was navigating that relationship for a long time. It was a huge catalyst for me, a huge portal for me. My dance with that beloved was really sweet and intense, and he helped me heal some big mother wounds. He held space for me to dive into some trauma that I had, and to really get up close and personal with some deep programming and patterning that I was operating in. And that was also lineage. It was family energy and finding my own individuality. And so I'm grateful for that relationship. I have no regret. I have no remorse. I love him truly. I feel like we did everything we could to work the pieces. And if anything, the hardest part for me was coming to this space where I could stop beating the dead horse. I could stop trying, and I could come to this place of realizing that sometimes things are just done. Our agreements are done. Our commitments are done. Our contracts are done. They're complete, right? And when we hit that space of something being complete, we can either hold on to it, right? And we continue to be in the pain loop. We can choose to change the contract and, make a new agreement with ourselves and potentially the other person. Or we can just let go and move forward. And there is no right or wrong, you know. What I've learned through my process is it requires such deep listening. And I'm so, so, so grateful for learning the deep listening and learning how to navigate the loops and the confusion and the patterns and the trauma and finding my way through it, being with the pain, learning how to be with it, to find joy in it, to transmute it, to alchemize it, like yes, yes, yes to all of it, every single drop. And I'm grateful for learning how to know when the sweetness has dried up and the fruit has nothing left to give. There's nothing to sink your teeth into anymore. And knowing trusting, feeling that, right? And feeling when it's time to move forward. And so, yeah, that's happened, and choosing to move forward for me opened this doorway and this pathway to love, all things love. And, if you've seen some of my videos in the last few months, I've talked a little bit about this, and just really being attuned left and right to love, to divine love, to human love, to cosmic love, to being in love, falling in love, learning to receive love. Oh my gosh. And it's good, and it's scary, and it's confusing, and yes to all of it. And in that process, what I really noticed was how my body and my nervous system, and I'm still navigating this, has been programmed for trauma, for anticipating, and protecting and being on alert and needing to detect and needing to try to know where someone else is, know where their patterns are, know where their protections are, so that I could feel safe. Maybe even fix their patterns, fix their protections, contort myself, right? So that I could feel safe. I have been a really good people pleaser. I'm really good at softening myself, softening the space around me. It's one of my gifts, and it's also a wounding for me. And so really learning to dance on the edge of that wounding and coming to this place of realizing that I don't need to heal it. No more. There is nothing to fix. Part of the human experience is having wounds, having soul wounds, having wounds around being human. We can understand them. We can learn from them. We can learn to hone in our energy so that we can still show up in kindness. We can still show up in love. But we don't need to fix it. We don't need to, we no longer need to hide those parts of ourselves. It is the thing that connects us to life. It is the thing that opens us to life. It is the part of us that teaches us how to love and opens us to love. It is a divine fingerprint. And so I've been in this deep process around oh my God, how do I untangle everything that I've learned to be in service of this new realization. And what I'm realizing is it's not about throwing the baby out with the bathwater. Everything that I've learned, everything until this moment, it is honey to my bones. It is oozing from my bones and it's seeping back into my bones. It is part of me. It is part of what has allowed me to step into this new energetic. And I feel myself being called to serve as a bridge from this pain body, trauma body, into this next layer of opening to our senses, our sensuality, our sexuality, our pleasure. And, when I am talking about these energies, our passion, right? This is not about sex. This is about when we are in that state of letting energy move through us and allowing energy to be expressed through us, allowing energy to use us as a sacred vessel. And I am feeling called into that space. And today I really feel like I stepped through this doorway in my morning practice meditation. And I want to share the process with you as an offering, because you may be dancing on the edge too. And, this might be really speaking to you and you haven't known how to step into that next place. And so I want to offer this, as just maybe a stepping stone or a drop of honey, whatever you are needing. And so when I woke up this morning, I was feeling a lot of frustration in my body. And this new relationship for me, he is so good. He loves me in ways that I've never been loved. He offers me love that I feel like I've never been offered. And I can feel the ways that my body wants to retreat into old story, old patterns, trauma response, fear. I feel it in my body, literally. And my body will freeze up, or I will go into resistance. I might notice anger or frustration kind of bubbling out of me. And, one of the things that I've been saying is I feel like a lot. I feel like a lot. I don't like the way that I'm showing up. I don't even know if I like this part of me. And at the same time, what I've really been learning in my process is I don't want to try to fix any part of me. And I don't want to try to get rid of any part of me. Each part is sacred. This is very dark goddessy, right? She is by my side. I feel her presence today. It is part of the human experience to feel frustrated, to feel angry, to feel trauma. It's not something we need to fix. It is something we need to deepen into the experience of so that we can understand. There is a deep invitation right now to reattune our consciousness, our perception. We have been operating in this trauma perception and this patriarchal perception. And there's so much energy coming through that wants to teach us, show us, and open us to a new way, to love. But to open to that, you have to be willing to die to your ego over and over and over again. You have to be willing to die to what you know, what you've known, and open to a new way. This can be a painful experience, but it doesn't have to be. When we willingly say, okay, I'm ready to learn something new. Learning something new doesn't have to be painful. It can be exciting. It can be exhilarating. It can be life-giving, right? And so this morning, I sat down in meditation and I was willing to sit with this frustration. And I found that I was feeling the parts of me that were kind of anticipating and expecting, like, oh my God, what is this going to be? Okay, rage is going to bubble out of me, or anger is going to bubble out of me, or grief, like this big emotion. And one thing that I've been learning as I've been allowing myself to grieve this separation, this ending of my relationship, the last 10 years of my life, right? Like identities, who I was, how I did things, my business. I've been grieving the places where I feel like the relationship changed me. And at the same time, I stepped into this portal of grief in a different perception, a different reality. a different experience. And the way that I've been experiencing it is letting it reveal itself to me, letting it teach me. And so rather than me thinking that grief is going to feel a certain way or look a certain way or mean a certain thing, I am sitting in it, being the student, right? And I'm learning things that people have said about grief, but I never, we can understand it or think we understand it with our mind, but to fully experience it is different. And so I've been having these experiences that feel so like strange. Like if I speak it, nobody is going to understand what I'm going through. And um, there is no words. It feels impossible to even try to explain it. And there's delusion. And there's like, it feels like a different reality. And seeing reality through different eyes. And so I've been having these experiences, right? And just really letting myself be the student of it. And, it can also be scary. It can be scary because we're afraid that nobody's going to understand us. We're alone. There's no connection. Maybe we're not going to be worthy. I've questioned, like, am I ever going to be capable of holding space for my work again? If I'm not, working with clients in that way, if I'm not of service, like, God, this is kind of a boring existence. Like, what am I doing? And so lots of things have come up, right? And just trusting it and really trusting myself, trusting life, learning to let go and kind of be in the flow more in a different way. So all that's been happening. So this morning I'm sitting with my frustration. I can feel the parts of me that think it's all this stuff, right? And I tuned into the divine feminine current, and that's what I'm going to call it. But it's this energy current that I've been working with. And I did a heart expansion session this morning, and this energy is working through me, with me. I feel it right now. I feel myself desiring to help people expand their awareness of it and also learn to open to it. And so I was opening to this space this morning and inviting it to show me, inviting it to help me, to heal me, to direct me. And as I softened my body and just kept softening, not trying to get rid of this frustration, but just softening my body. Like if you had a stiff muscle, if you are if you're tightening around that muscle, then the muscle can't relax, right? The same thing happens when we have energy that's stuck in our body, whether it is grief, whether it is anxiety, whether it's anger, whether it is just energy, you know, when we have energy that we are resisting and it's stuck in our body, if we are like tensed around that, then the energy doesn't have a place to move. When we soften and soften and soften, not trying to soften the actual energy, the resistance or the frustration, but softening the rest of ourselves, we then can breathe in, and let this energy reveal itself to us. And what I discovered is it was joy. It was not at all what I thought. And so this joy started bubbling up through me. And I felt myself, I could feel, whew, I felt it moving through. And as I allowed it, what I started to see and feel was how much fear and resistance I've had to allowing my joy to be embodied. Fear of being in joy, fear of being in love, fear of what the ripples that might create, the impact that might create, the fear of how that might influence or affect the people around me and what they might feel, what that might bring up for them, right? The stories, the emotions. And so, because of all this worry, all this tracking, all this holding, people pleasing, contorting, right? Trying to keep others comfortable. I have held my own joy, my own love hostage. And so today, as that began to bubble up for me, the cats are getting a little crazy as we're going here. It is a little crazy. It's a little wild, right? When we begin to open our systems to more energy, new energy, it kind of rattles and shakes the world around us. I'm learning to embrace the wildness, the unpreparedness, sometimes willing, sometimes resisting, and still enjoying the humanness of all of it, right? Finding the joy in the humanness. It's okay to resist. It's human. It's okay to be afraid. It's human. But as I began to tune into this joy, I felt my power coming back to me. I felt myself filling my body, filling up with this energy, allowing that divine feminine, right, to move through. Use me as a sacred vessel. I am devoted. I am willing. And what came forward next, this feels important to share, is making the decision. Making the decision to end some contracts, to complete some processes, to stamp done, complete. I no longer need to operate in trauma, in certain trauma loops, right? Yes, there will be more trauma. There will be trauma that I need to heal in the future. But these certain threads, right, that I've been really working and being with and navigating, complete. Thank goddess. I no longer consent. I no longer consent to those patterns, those programs. I am choosing to rise in love. I am choosing to be a vessel for joy and love. I am choosing to open to joy and to allow joy to be my teacher. I am not fully embodied in joy in this moment, but I am willing. I am willing to learn. I'm willing to step closer to it. I'm willing to allow it to open me, soften me, have its way with me, teach me to get a little wild and embrace the unpreparedness, the spontaneity. I'm willing. I'm ready. So we come to these places in our process where it's time. It's time to make the decision. I've burnt it all down. I have drank every last drop of juice that is available in this situation, in this experience, and I am marking myself complete. so that I can move to the next space. If you are needing that permission to do this for yourself, it is granted, beauty. I'm giving it to you today. You don't need my permission, but I am more than delighted to be a permission giver. And I also want to give you permission if you feel, it's maybe you're wanting to move forward and yet something is still keeping you here. Be here. Be in it. Be willing to keep trying. There is nothing wrong with dedication. It is a virtue. It is a strength. You do not have to feel guilt, shame. You don't have to feel that over continuing to try. My relationship with James, I kept trying for a long time. I could see that as a waste, but I don't. I see that as dedication, devotion, love. Choose love. Your thread of love might be different from mine, and that is okay, because true love, you have your own unique note, your own unique flavor. I am not trying to give anyone a cookie cutter. I want you to tune into you. And if that ruffles my feathers sometimes, I am okay with that. Thank you. Thank you for ruffling my feathers. So, my prayer today, I shared this in my email and I want to share it here too, is that my love and my joy blesses you. May it bless you. May it inspire you. May it move you closer to your love and joy. And if you're feeling called to go deeper or come closer, if you need support, again, I am offering 50% off my one-on-one sessions, heart expansion sessions, and also on my 3-session packages. So I am stepping back into the flow of my work, and this is one of the ways that I'm letting myself kind of ease back into the current and open to the current, reacclimate. But what I can tell you from my session this morning, these sessions are potent. They are potent. They are not diluted by any means. The discount is not about dilution. This is about, it's time. It's time to step forward. It's time for me. If you're feeling it's time for you, I'd be delighted to support you. And, these sessions are a little different. So if you've worked with me in sessions in the past, this is a little different. We are not going into your patterns. We're not really going dissect anything, or we're not trying to necessarily unravel anything. These are more attunements. And so what I am offering is attunements to your heart space, deepening into receiving, learning how to soften, to open to love. And love can look like passion in your business, it can look like letting love move through you so that you can express more clearly in your relationships or in your business. It might look like opening to your joy, your passion, your turn on, um, opening to this divine feminine current, learning how to um, deepen and expand your senses, your sensuality. So rather than just tasting the flavor, you get to taste the flavor. You get to savor the flavor and learn to seep in and receive the little nuggets of it, right? And so if you are experiencing grief or rage or any of these things, stuckness in your business, we are like really mining for the gems of what is this experience offering you, and how can you let yourself deepen into this experience so that love can move through you and also through the experience, right? And so that's what we're doing in these sessions, and it is potent, very, very potent. So if you're feeling called, I'd be delighted to support you. I'm going to put a link in the comments where you can learn more about the offer, the actual exchange, and whatnot. But I'm not going to be offering this forever. So it is a limited time offer, and my sense is something is wanting to be birthed through me. So that may include a price increase or things looking a little different as I begin to move into my business again. So, yeah, it feels exciting. I'm sending you so much love. Thank you for being here. Thank you for getting to the end. If you're at the end, witnessing me on my journey, being part of this journey, and thank you for choosing love and joy.